For a strange reason, Faith felt the slightest sting of disappointment, knowing the beautiful young waitress was married, as foolish as it was to care. She'd never be back in the tiny little town that didn't seem to have a name, so it mattered not. "I certainly hope your husband isn't an Earp," she added, eyeing Wyatt as she tore the paper off the straw and pushed it into her drink. Wyatt looked away and shook her head. "No, but he is a lawman." There was a loud ding from a bellhop's bell and a man's voice calling out, "Order up." "Be right back," Wyatt said, heading into the kitchen. A moment later, she returned with Faith's lunch, dropping it off with a smile before running back to pick up another order. Faith was left alone at the counter to eat her lunch, which was a hell of a lot better than she'd expected, as Wyatt performed her duties of cleaning, waiting on patrons, and disappearing for long moments into the kitchen. She checked in from time to time, as any good waitress does, before zooming off again. Finally, she finished her meal, and it was time to hit the road again. Sliding off the stool, Faith grabbed the ticket Wyatt had left for her with a small wave and wishes of safe travels, and headed to Pops, who flipped through the newspaper as though making sure he'd read every last word. "Enjoy it?" he grumbled, not bothering to look at her as she stepped up to the cash register, her wallet in hand. "I did, thank you." She handed him a $20 bill and waited for him to slowly, good Lord, he was slow, ring up her ticket and take her money and return her change. He eyed her over the tops of his half-moon reading glasses. "Wanna own a piece of winter history?" he asked, voice deep and grumpy. She looked at him, confused. "Excuse me?" She was startled when suddenly a laminated page was presented before her eyes. It looked to be the same lamination style as the menu, crappy, with bubbles and some of the paper still uncovered. Taking it from him, she quickly read the short missive. "Church steeple raffle. $10 buys you a ticket and a piece of winter history. Drawing March 3rd. Glancing down at the change in her hand that the old man had given her, she handed him the 2 $5 bills. "Why not?" she said with a smile, which wasn't returned, as he snatched the money and the laminated page from her. "Wyatt, raffle," he called out, a roll of raffle tickets appearing on the counter next to the register as he returned to his paper. Faith looked at him in surprise, wondering if he did anything but ring people up, read the paper, and, it seemed, complain. Her thoughts were interrupted by Wyatt breezing through the swinging door with the grace of someone on roller skates. "Sorry," Faith muttered, knowing her raffle ticket was taking Wyatt away from far more important duties. "Skay," Wyatt said, with what Faith was beginning to understand was her signature smile. Wyatt truly was a lovely woman, looked to be in her early 30s, perhaps. Her turquoise eyes, striking in color, held such warmth and kindness that fell into that smile. She couldn't help but return it. Faith watched as Wyatt tore off the 2-part raffle ticket from the roll, sliding it on the counter in front of her along with a pen. "Go ahead and write your name and phone number there," the waitress instructed, tapping a tiny bit of space provided for the information. "I'll give you this side of the ticket." She tapped the other part of the ticket, which just held a 5-digit number and could be torn away from the other part with correlating numbers and her contact information along the perforated line. "If your ticket is drawn in a few months, we'll give you all a buzz." Faith nodded, taking her part of the ticket after she finished writing her information. "What's the raffle prize?" she asked, glancing at the number on her ticket before carefully tucking it into a pocket in her wallet. "Honestly, I have no idea," Wyatt said with a shrug, dropping Faith's stub into a jar she'd taken out from beneath the counter with others. "The town commission came in one day and told us what to say and what to collect." "Of course they did," Faith said with a chuckle. "Well, good luck with this." She indicated the jar with a wave of her hand. "Sounds like it's going to a good cause. Happy New Year to you." "And you," Wyatt said. "Take care now."